Okay, I got a 30-degree synthetic underquilt made out of Climate Shield Apex insulation, and I got to film inside. The weather's bad. I got a million other things going on. I don't have a lot of time to line up multiple shots and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to show you. This is a continuous loop coming out of the hammock, and on the underquilt it has a carabiner, miniature carabiner, and when you clip this on, for the person getting this underquilt, when you clip it on, clip it between the two strings, so it'll stop there. And because if you clip it around both of them, it might try to work its way down the hammock a little bit. So to avoid that, the best thing to do is take it in between the two and clip it, and then it has nowhere to go. So that's just a little tip for the person getting it. Like I said, I can't line up all the shots and everything, so I'm just going to have to go with what I got. Get this thing set up. And this underquilt's made with clew suspension instead of typical suspension. And I know a lot of people, when they see it, a reaction I get pretty commonly, initial reaction is, oh my god, there's all kinds of cords, it's going to get tangled, run away, it's bad. It's not. And for the person getting it, I'll show a little tip on putting it back in the bag to help avoid any tangles. There we go, set up nice and easy, quick, all that good stuff. The way this suspension works is it's got all the shock cord. It's got 9 different points along the end of the hammock that the shock cord attaches to it. It weaves back and forth between them and the carabiner that it mounts to. It's got a buckle up here that you can adjust. As you can see right now, it's really tight. It's kind of lifting up the hammock. When we originally made the clew suspension, we went off what everybody else was doing, and it was not adjustable or whatever. So we've kind of over time adapted to this style. And what I can do is I can just loosen the buckle and just let it down. A lot of times what I'll do is during the day, if I'm going to be lounging in the hammock, I'll go ahead and let it down, so it makes it easier to get in and out of the hammock. And then at night I just raise it back up. And you could control, like I weigh 140 pounds with it tied up against me. Somebody that weighs 220, it might be too tight, it might be compressing the insulation. So that's why we made it adjustable, so you can get it where you need it at. And for the person getting this, we talked about, because you were concerned the 30-degree might be a little bit too warm, so we talked about having it being able to vent it either at the head end or the foot end. So all you got to do to vent it is just lower one of these sides down, and it'll get the quilt away from your body and allow some air to flow through there. And what we did is we made it, his hammock is black, the person that's getting it, and he was going to make the whole underquilt black to match. But one downside to that is a lot of times when you're getting in the hammock, you think you know, if the material is the same color, you think you're sitting in a hammock when you're actually just sitting in the underquilt and you fall down on the ground. So on the inner layer, we did a dark charcoal gray. So it's not too far off the black, but it's enough that you can tell the difference when you're looking at when you have it set up on your hammock. It's made out of a 7D, I can't remember the fabric now, some kind of taffeta, really lightweight material. For the person getting it, another tip is, since you don't have a lot of experience with underquilts, one way to tell what's going on if you're getting cold in it, you know, like if it's, you got a 30-degree underquilt and if it's 50 degrees and you're getting cold, if your butt, and this is a general rule for any underquilt, if your butt is getting cold, chances are you've got the underquilt is too tight and you're compressing the insulation. So you need to loosen it down a little bit. If your butt and the center part of your body is warm, but your upper body is cold or your legs are cold, chances are you've got it loose on, like if your legs are cold, you've got it loose on that end. If your upper body's cold, you got it loose on that end. So if your upper body or lower body is cold, you probably need to tighten it up a little bit on one or the other ends. If your butt and the center part of your body is cold, you probably got it too tight. That's the best way to know what's going on with that. But you get in there, and I've forgotten to raise this up after I got in it before in my underquilt like this, and I couldn't figure out why it was cold, and I forgot to raise it back up. Is what it was. But you'll have all you gotta do when you're ready to go to bed, just lift it up, put the head in and the foot in, wherever you need it to, and it's gonna keep you nice and warm. And I'll show you real quickly. We had snaps. We did, if you can see it. So we got our name tag there, so on. It is charcoal gray on the inside, so I went with gray cam snaps on the black gross gain for where all the shock cord meets up at. Here's your buckle up here to adjust it, and the carabiner, like I said, goes in between the two, so it won't try to work its way down the hammock. And then, you know, on the inside, charcoal gray. See that charcoal gray matches it. It's really goes good with that black as far as blending in, and it's going to look really nice on your black hammock. So that's it. Just a real quick video. Hope you like the underquilt. I know it's going to keep you warm, and you know, for the person getting in, if you have any questions, just contact me, and you know, we'll get things straightened out. I left your webbing here long on the buckles. Once you use it a time or two and see how low you need it or whatever, you know, you can just cut the string and then just take a lighter. I mean, cut that webbing that's hanging down from the buckle and take a lighter and melt it and be good to go. So right now there's excess webbing on there. And that's when people talk about, you know, the clew suspension and getting all tangled and everything. That's what usually gets tangled. I had a long piece on mine when the one I built for me as a prototype to fine tune this system, and that piece would get kind of tangled around, but it was just a matter of, you know, a half a second it was untangled. So let me show you what I do whenever I put it away to help avoid any tangles. I always take my underquilt down before I take my hammock down, of course, and you know, put it away and everything. And all I do is on the end with the cords, I fold the cords in. I just let them drop in down inside the quilt, and then just grab it, and so now they're all squeezed together inside the quilt there, and then just start putting it in the bag. And when I get down to the other end, I do the same thing, just kind of tuck them down inside the quilt and then you just keep putting it in there. You saw when I put it up, I didn't have to mess with any tangles or anything like that. This is the first time I've set it up, and it was no issue. It as far as tangles and stuff, because it has, you know, like I said, the cord goes back and forth to 9 different points on each end of the hammock, and a lot of people are concerned about the tangles. But first of all, my wife and I have been using them for a couple of years. It's never been an issue, and it just works. In my opinion, it works so much better, especially if somebody's new into underquilts and hammocks and all that kind of stuff. You don't have all the fiddling and trying to get everything just right if you do with a typical underquilt, with the primary and secondary suspension and trying to get them just right so the air's not getting in there or it's not too tight or whatever. That the design of the clew suspension is so it pulls evenly across the entire quilt instead of just from the outside edges. It pulls evenly across the quilt, and they just work better. Okay, it's getting longer and I'm running out of time. For the person getting this underquilt, like I said, if your center body part of your body gets cold, loosen it up a little bit. You're compressing insulation. If your upper body, lower body gets cold, you probably need to tighten one end or the other. And one thing I like to do, like, because you're down south, if it's warm when I go to bed, but I know the temperature's going to drop, and it's really easy to do with the clew suspension underquilt, is I'll just take it, like if I get in and out on this side, I'll take it before I go to bed. I'll have it all have it tightened and everything, but then I'll just pull it out to one side so it's all hanging on this side, and then I go to sleep. And then during the night when the temperature drops, I just reach underneath the hammock, grab the underquilt, pull it back, and kind of get it in place, and go right back to sleep. You know, that's something I do quite a bit if it's warm when I go to bed, but I know the temperature's going to drop. So it's another advantage of the clew suspension. Anyway, I'm going to get this thing in the mail, and hope you like it, man.